GYVOCY live show. This is episode 5. It's going to be a belter, so we're glad that you're here. My name's Glyn Watson, and this is Trevor.
Hello, how are you doing? Just caught me out slightly now. I was playing around with my phone and not realised what was going on. So no, apologies.
Don't do that. In case you didn't hear that, this is the Generate Youth, Vale of Cloyd Youth live. That's what that means. Does that sound a little bit like E.T.?
Live.
But anyway, welcome. Today we're going to have a challenge set for you, but it's going to be slightly different because we're going to do the challenge first. And then there's going to be an interview with Andy Hughes. Andy Hughes is the, what would you call him? He's the CEO? No, he's not, is he? He's the main guy of the
Wales
youth organisation.
Wales director?
Yeah, he's the Wales director, of course he is. He's the Wales director of Urban Saints, or Saint y Gymuned, for those who speak Welsh. And he's going to be speaking to us today about racism. I'm not going to say any more about him because I'm going to let him do that. But he's going to be joining us a little later. And basically the rest of the show is just going to be us sort of gassing about a bit. Just a bit.
Colin, so have you noticed anything different?
You're taller?
Nope.
You're shorter?
Nope.
I'm not going to say the rest. Slightly less hairy.
There you go.
Hey. Okay. So
I've had a haircut today. Woo!
First today.
Yeah. First time in 5 months.
When I saw you a couple of hours ago, you've been home to have a shave, haven't
you?
Is that what you? Oh.
I said to you, this is part 1.
Yeah.
So part 2 was.
Phase 1. It's a bit like a building thing.
Yeah.
You know, phase 1 complete.
It's like you may or may not understand this. Those of you who know where I'm coming from. So non-discriminatory statements, but sometimes when I go home, I get asked, "Do you notice anything different about me?"
I'm going to zoom in so people can actually make a. Go on, carry on.
And when I'm asked that question, I then have to think, okay, can I narrow this down to a few different options? And usually I get it completely wrong, because 9 times out of 10 it is, I've had my hair cut and you haven't noticed. Oh dear. Well, I think mine is significant enough that I'm going to get noticed when I get home this evening, and we will have a conversation about how did your day go. It went very well because I got a haircut and a shave. So
very good.
If you want to know what it feels like, it feels good.
Yes, I'm sure it does. But it was beginning to it was all beginning to sort of take shape and
take over.
It was well, that's what I meant. I just was trying to be kind.
Oh, be cruel to be kind.
No, I'm not going to be cruel to be kind. It's not very nice.
It's a song.
Okay, so I wasn't going to make fun of your hair or your beard. Are you glad it's gone?
I was getting quite attached to it, really.
What, the hair or the beard?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly
it keeps you warmer, doesn't it?
It takes less time to get ready in the morning.
Okay, we're going to do something very, very simple but different. Here are some cards. Pick a card, any card.
Is this a trick question?
It's not. No.
Just
pick a card, any card.
Okay, we'll have that one.
Okay.
He says, trying to. Oh, there we
well,
go.
I'm the one with no nails. Okay. No, you don't have to hide it.
Oh, I thought
there's a topic of conversation on there that you. Yes, of course there is.
Oh, it's on.
Yes, it's
I'm
on
looking at the wrong side. That'd be why.
Oh, did I put the? Oh, I put them up the wrong way around, didn't I? Sorry. Okay. So yeah, what is the topic of conversation? Or
Okay,
ask me the question.
Okay, so the question, Glyn, for you.
Yes.
And I want your immediate answers. You've got 5 seconds
Immediate
to
answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Is what couldn't you live without?
What couldn't I live without? Well, that's a good question.
It's a very good question.
It's a very good question.
You're trying to buy time now, aren't you?
No, I'm not trying to buy time. I'm just, oh, goodness me. Let's just go with music.
music. Okay, not technology.
Maybe.
That
But
was,
I said, yeah, that's going to be yours, is it? Or
That would
is
be
that what
mine,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, you can't live without technology.
it would be technology because I like my technology. Anybody?
Yes.
Not always very good at using it, but I do like techie stuff and
It is one of
playing
those.
around and having gadgets and that kind of thing. So,
Okay. How about you? What thing could you not live without? Why don't you drop us a message?
drop us a message.
And that's another thing, which is just a good reminder, is that, look, you know, the comment section below these videos on YouTube or on Facebook, they're there for you. If you want to drop us a line, leave us a question, because last week or the week before, no, it was last week, we turned around and said, look, if you have a particular hot topic that you want us to discuss, it can be anything.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely
it can be anything, and we'll discuss it and we'll give a little bit of a Christian spin on it, because that's ultimately what we are, and that's the way we view the world and how we should approach the world and what's wrong.
It's disappeared.
I love technology, me. You're struggling with it there, aren't you?
Sometimes it doesn't do what I think it's supposed to do, but there you go.
He's just got a new iPad. He's got the new floaty thing.
That's
Look at
why
it. It's so cool.
Working right.
Yes. I've got it. So yeah, leave a comment, leave your answer to that question in the comment section. But I've got a question here for Trev, and he's going to answer this as quickly as I did his, which wasn't particularly fast. Okay. So what do you enjoy doing that helps you to rest and relax?
What do I enjoy doing that helps me rest and relax?
Yes.
I enjoy doing DIY. So, faffing, fiddling around with making stuff wood.
Oh, I thought it was like something like do it immediate yodel or something like that.
Intermediate yodeling class.
Yeah, that's a good intermittent yodeling.
So
Anyway.
yes, I enjoy.
He enjoys. He does. You do like the odd project, don't you?
I do like a bit of a project. Yes. So why can't I get this back on Facebook now and instead of keep popping back up to YouTube?
You're probably pressing the YouTube link.
Oh,
So you need to go back to the Facebook page and then, yeah.
I am.
Okay, so while Trevor's doing that, I'm going to ask him another question so he can multitask. Or Trevor, do you want to choose one?
No, I can do. You tell. Yes.
I've got to ask you one. Okay. Hang on. What do I like to do when I relax, actually?
Oh yeah, what do you like?
I've kind of started doing... a couple of weeks ago we spoke about meditating. Yeah. It's actually something that I've found helps focus me a little bit, especially when I'm feeling a bit anxious. If I'm feeling a bit stressed, I tend to go lie down, put some really calming music on and just focus on some breathing.
What, like Black Sabbath or something?
Slipknot, you know, Murder Death.
Never heard of
Have you never heard of them? I'm shocked. White Snake.
White
You must
Snake,
have
I've
heard of
heard
her,
of
White
them.
Snake.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, so that's what I kind of do to rest and relax. So let me just do a quick shuffle here. What do you do to rest and relax? Some of you, I'm sure, would say, I like to binge watch Netflix or watch YouTube or whatever like that, but I don't want to assume anything too much. This is the question for you, Trev, is how does what you listen to affect how you feel? Oh, that's a good question.
That's a very good
That's a very good question.
So yeah, I think it does. I would say that again, it may limit the audience here, but if you drive, if you're listening to kind of lively music, it sometimes makes you drive a little bit faster. Or I guess what Glyn was saying before about listening to some calming music, that helps you to sometimes kind of get a focus on things.
And that means you drive really slow.
I can't imagine you ever driving really slow.
Like, just doze it off.
So yeah, I think it does affect you. And what about you? Do you think the same? Or
how does it affect us? I guess it gives it depends on the thoughts, I think, that it can muster up in your mind. If you're listening to angry music, let's say, with an angry message, you tend to focus on the anger, so it makes you tap in a little bit. That isn't to say that, you know, sometimes if you're stressed, you would listen to an angry song and you feel at the end of it like, but then you feel calmer and relaxed after it. It's an odd sort of, I don't know, have you ever felt like that?
It's not just because of the music.
You've done it. No, the steering wheel is no longer part of the car. You've ripped it off. Okay. Oh, have you commented? I've just had.
Yeah, I've just put two up there. Well, it's just, I've just typed up the question. So if you are following this or you want to respond to us at any point, doesn't have to be this afternoon, it can be any time. Okay. Then I've put the two questions so far. If Glyn passes me the card, I'll put the third one up there.
Yep. Oh, this one.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. How it makes you feel.
What time are we on?
We're good. We're good.
More?
Yeah, let's do one more. Do you make the most of the time you have in each day? No.
No.
There's such a word as procrastination, isn't it? And that is basically intentionally and subconsciously, or subconsciously, because, well, that's either, well, it's intentional as well, or could it be subconsciously?
Yeah, I think it can be both.
Consciously, it can be both?
Yeah.
Okay, so consciously and subconsciously making a choice in some sense to not do what you are supposed to do. So if, for instance, you have an essay that's due in let's say, a week, and you choose to leave it until last minute and choose to do other things, then, you know, take your time with it. Or if you've got something in your diary, like you've planned out your week to say, this is my study time, and you intentionally reach that time where you're supposed to be doing your study, and then, oh, no, I need to go and do the garden, or I need to go and take my makeup off.
I think that's for me, that's what a big thing is, that I will say, I'll try and justify what I'm doing. So, oh, well, I can't do that essay now because I've got to go and cut the grass, or I've got to go and do the washing up, or whatever it might be. Yeah. So it's kind of deflects then the reasoning behind just not wanting to go and knuckle down and do the things that I should be doing. One of my previous bosses used to tell me that I needed to eat my sprouts first.
Eat my shorts. Oh yeah, get the worst out of the way first. Yeah.
Now, that didn't really work for me because I like sprouts, but anyway.
But it's a good metaphor. If there's something, you know, I tend to eat all the rice in a curry first and leave the meat till the end.
Why don't you like the rice?
It's not to say I don't like the rice, I'm just leaving the best bit that I consider the best bit till the end.
Yeah.
Which you may think it's like eating all the bread before the soup arrives. Which is just silly because it fills you up.
That's right.
So don't fill yourself up on the bread.
Interesting.
But this is a bit of a random metaphor.
Anyway, I think that's
just
really
like
good.
vomiting metaphors out at you.
Again, if you want to send us a message, comment on what you do. Do you eat all the good stuff first, or do you eat it all together, or do you eat the kind of the bits that you don't really enjoy first?
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you another question, but I'm going to be a bit more selective here.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, this is a cute one. Okay, and I suspect that I already know the answer to this one because, well, yeah. Okay. When do you feel most able to be yourself?
Oh my goodness. When do I feel most able to be myself? I don't know what to say.
I know. That's it.
Let's move on. There are so many things I could answer. That could get me into so much trouble. Okay, so before our guest arrives, one of these questions, which one should we have?
Oh, please write that one in.
That one. Okay, so we're going to put this up on...
Let your mind wander. Not too far, though.
Okay. Please, not too far. When do you Oh. How many E's in feel?
2.
Yes.
It depends if you want to elongate it like Dr. Cox off Scrubs.
Who?
Feel. But anyway, that's an old sitcom now.
Right. When do you feel most able to be yourself? Okay. So, our guest today.
Well, let's have a quick gander as to see if he's there, because if I press this button, it's either he's there. Oh, here he is. Okay, so let me just. Okay, so. Oh.
He's waving to us, so that means he's here. Can you hear us, Andy?
I can hear
Yes.
you. Yeah.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear him. So, Andy, you can probably hear me, right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You can, but we can't hear you. So you just need to bear with me while I sort this debacle out. Right, just hold on. Debacle.
Okay. Well, so while Glyn's doing
Faffing.
that...
What do I do with the cable?
Which cable?
There's a cable somewhere. Keep going. Keep talking.
So, so Andy can probably hear me.
Yes.
Andy, by holding up your hands, tell me how many years we've known each other.
75. No.
10, 20, 24 years. Is that how long it is since you came to sunny North Wales? Wow,
Yep.
That's scary, isn't it? You don't look old enough, Andy.
Okay.
Anyway, do you like my haircut?
I can't see it.
You can't see my haircut. Oh, no.
Keep talking, Andy.
Yeah, I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yay. I can hear you now.
Here we go.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the answer, Trevor, on your haircut is I can't see you. I can only see Glyn and half of myself on the Zoom call, but there we go.
can you see him now?
Oh, gosh. Well, it looks better than it did yesterday. That's all I'm saying, Trevor.
Oh yes, it did. Oh yes.
You
it
had a
did.
shave, mate.
Okay, so I'm just
Just
going to
clarify-
turn my. I'm going to turn. You're going to see the side of my head because, as you've seen, the setup here, Andy, is that you are on a screen here, but we can hear you. Everyone else can hear you, which is grand. Let me just double check. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so Andy, you are talking to us today. Firstly, welcome to GYVOCY. I've got to make this official. We've done a little bit of a brief introduction as to who you are at the beginning of the show, but I've left a lot of the self-explanation to you about who you are. So what's your story before we get into the real meat and potatoes of what you're going to be discussing today?
Well, as Trevor said, I've known Trevor for 24 years, which was way back in 1996 when I moved to Wales with my family. I should say moved home, because Wales has always been home. I come from a Welsh family, although I was born and grew up in England. Being from North Wales was always meant that was home. So that's a bit about me. I still maintain I was 12 at the time when I moved home to North Wales. But Trevor won't
Who's
let me
he
get away
trying
with
to
that.
kid?
But I need to say this clearly. I am younger than Trevor. Only just. I'm 57 years old, and Trevor has reached the grand old age of 58, pushing 60. So that's just a little bit about me. I have one wife and 2 grown-up children. It's definitely better that way around than 2 wives and 1 grown-up child. And I work for, just imagine the mother-in-laws. And and I work for a Christian youth children's work organisation called Urban Saints, Scientific Minute, and I'm the staff worker in Wales.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Andy, for that. I've kind of already given away the topic the topic that you're going to be speaking out, which is racism. So really, you take it away, and then at the end we'll pick up a few points that you've made, and we'll discuss it if that's okay.
That's
okay.
Absolutely fine. That's great.
Off you
Well, I mean, as you've heard, I'm here to talk about racism. It's become a big issue in the media and on the agenda, the news media and the television media and on social media all over the world since the murder of George Floyd by a policeman in America. And that led to a massive movement globally, particularly in the Western world, against racism, and just highlight what an issue it still is and remains. And in some nations, it's an institutional thing where the authorities are opposed to particular people groups and they persecute them. In other places, it's something much more subliminal that goes on in the way that ordinary people go about daily lives and treat each other. Some would say that racism isn't an issue here in the UK. We don't have the kind of racism that they see on the news media in other places. I can only say to that, the people that say that are not black, because the experience, the everyday, ordinary experience of black people in the UK is very different from that position. Racism definitely exists. For some, it exists because people are overtly opposed to black people, or anti-black people, or Asian people. Come to that. And for some, it's much more subliminal. People don't really realise that their attitudes are racist, and therefore they still, in ignorance, can inflict that on people. I have a colleague who has been talking quite a lot about the racism that he's experienced all the way through his life, and continues to experience today, even from people in his church, even from people in his extended family. That's very distressing for him and for all of those around him, for those of us who are his friends. There are, on the Urban Saints website and on social media just recently, there are lots of young people talking about, black young people talking about their life experiences. And I do really recommend a great little video by Leona Lewis, which is available on Instagram. It's called Leona Lewis, My Experience. And she talks about a particular racist incident that she experienced. And if you listen to that for 10 minutes, you will be shocked, but you'll understand a lot more about how racism is still an issue today. So why would I'd be so bothered about racism? I'm a middle-aged white guy who probably hasn't experienced too much of it in racism towards me. Well, I grew up in Brixton in South London. So Welsh family, but I grew up in Brixton in South London on a council estate. I lived on a high-rise council estate, which was predominantly black. So I grew up as an ethnic minority, if you like, and I didn't in any way experience racism from the majority community on that estate. And it was a great place to grow up. And we got on well. I had friends that were black, friends that were Asian, and everybody just got on. It was great. It was a fantastic place. In addition to that, my godfather was Indian. He was from Madras province in India. And if any of you meet anybody from Madras, one of these you'll notice is they're very, very black. They're not light-skinned Indians. They're very black. So I grew up, just regularly with his family, and with him coming to our house, and that was a part of life. Was just being with Trev, my godfather, who again I remember being told by a previous employer once that black people were all ignorant, and that he wouldn't employ any because they couldn't really do anything. They weren't very intelligent. At which point I proceeded to tell him about my godfather, and I didn't tell him he was black. I just told him about this guy who was a university tutor. Wow. and a concert pianist, and he got very excited. Oh, you're lucky to have something like that. And then I said, and he's black, so you're wrong.
To which
so I said I never experienced racism. he just stormed off. He wasn't having it. But,
no.
Hey, there we go. I didn't stay in the job.
Yep.
I never experienced racism, as I said, apart from, I guess, a little bit. I got a little bit of stick at school for being Welsh, because in the days when I was in high school, Wales won everything at rugby. Absolutely everything. We beat everybody, even New Zealand, regularly. So in those days, it was a good time to be Welsh, and I got a lot of stick for being Welsh. It wasn't really racism, but I got plenty of stick. Well, although I didn't experience racism myself, I certainly saw it every day. I saw people being discriminated against. I saw in the community I lived in, there was a law in those days called the sus law. It stood for suspicion. So if the police believed that you they suspected you might be going to commit a crime, but they could stop you and arrest you. And that law was used in all kinds of bizarre ways. So if you were black, on the estate I grew up in, you would be stopped probably every week, pretty much every week. If you were a black young person the same age as me, you would be stopped all the time. You might be arrested for carrying your comb, because an afro comb you might use to comb your hair, if you have an afro, has sharp points to it, and that would be deemed to be an offensive weapon, and that would be enough for the police to take you to the police station.
Wow.
My next door neighbour, Trevor, was regularly arrested for carrying his comb and taken to, for nothing more than that, taken to the police station. One time he came out with tooth missing. He told stories of being wrapped in a cell mattress, which is a mattress, and beaten while wrapped in the mattress, so that the bruise marks wouldn't come out and show. And all of that eventually led to the Brixton riots, as the community had enough and turned back on the police. And the subsequent investigations by the government-appointed commission, headed by Lord Scarman, were absolutely right in their conclusions that it wasn't caused by black people being criminal. It was caused by racism in the police force. But closer to home for me, in terms of my experience and my friends, there was a guy when I was in year 9 who joined our school called Zul Panju, and who sadly lost touch with now. Now, Zul was originally from an Asian family, from a Pakistani family, but his family, he had grown up in Uganda, an African country, and they had a dictator, a very evil dictator in government in Uganda, who threw out all the Asians because he was jealous of how good they were at business and how much money they therefore amassed for themselves. And so he threw them all out. And so Zul and his family were forced to flee from Uganda, and they came, because they had family connections, they came to the UK. And Zul came to our school. And he was a bit different from everybody else because of his life experiences and his kind of background. And everybody else in our year group and most of the other people in our class just didn't want anything to do with him. They ignored him at best. They persecuted him at best. Nobody was going to be friends with this guy. And it was kind of unwritten thing. You don't be friends with this guy because he doesn't fit here. He hasn't been with us in school since year 7. And something in me stirred against that. I wasn't having that. And so he and I became friends. We became good friends. And we hung out together, and that meant I lost some other friends, and that's okay. They're not really friends if you lose them over stuff like that. I hope in some small way our friendship made his school career bearable until eventually he moved away to somewhere else. But certainly it was good for me. I enjoyed being friends with him. I had then, and I still have, many other black friends and friends of all nationalities. I'm a musical person, lots of different kinds of music. As a teenager, I played violin and then double bass in orchestras, and played with people of all nationalities in that. I also played in rock bands, and played with bands where we had singers and a drummer in one of the bands who were black. And that was just normal. It was just normal. In fact, eventually when we left London and moved away and went up to Cumbria, it was very strange to see so few black faces in the area we moved to. Very strange.
Yeah.
I remember my wife and I saying we should maybe go back to London for the weekend just to get a bit normal, because it was so abnormal for us. I believe that being different is important, and this is true for every young person, because being different is how you're made to be. Each of us is made unique. We are a collection of specialness, if you like, that has never been put together before, as somebody says in a great book. And yet there's so much pressure to fit in or conform and be like everyone else in the culture around us. And lots of young people live in fear and live in kind of, I've got to fit in. I can't not fit in because it would be too difficult. The problem is, if we go with that pressure, then we miss out on the joy of being who we were made to be. I wonder if you're someone that's listening, do you sometimes wish you could just be free to be who you really are and not who you think everybody else wants you to be? Well, the answer is you can. You can. It's a matter of choice. And if that's true of you, then it's also true of everyone. I don't just mean everyone, I mean everyone. Whether we're black, white, mixed race, Asian, Chinese, whatever. It's true of all of us. Wherever we are in the world, it's true of us. So my encouragement, I'm coming into land a little bit, and then we'll discuss this a bit. But my encouragement is two things really. Don't be racist. It comes from ignorance. It comes from a lack of understanding. It might seem an obvious thing to say, but lots of people are, just without even thinking about it. Just in the comments they make and the words they use and the stuff they listen to, or the stuff they watch on social media, or the stuff they pass on social media. Even if people around you are, even if that's your family, don't be racist. Make friends. Learn about other people and their cultures and their differences. Embrace the differences. Differences is great. It would be really boring if I walked down the street and everybody I met was exactly the same as me. It would be really boring. I guarantee it. And that would be true of any of us. Enjoy the differences. I loved thinking back to my days in Brixton as a young person. I loved going to Brixton Market. We used to go every Saturday when I was a youngster, and I don't remember ever going to Brixton Market and not finding one new vegetable or fruit on a stall that I'd never seen before. And I go to you say to the stall holder, you say, "What's that? And what do you do with it?" And sometimes they just slice it open with a machete and they hand you a bit. And they go, "Yeah, try it." And sometimes they go, "No, you have to peel this bit off and cook it like that." And it was just amazing. It was just such a richness, and we tried all sorts of stuff. Then in my church life, I went to a very traditional church, Anglican church, when I was a youngster, and we had there was a great youth group, which is why I went. But we used to have on Sunday evenings sung choral evensong, using a form of service that was written in 1662. So the language was quite old-fashioned, and the style of the service was quite old-fashioned. They were great people, but after, every now and then you'd feel like, I've had enough of that. So I began to go quite regularly, probably about every 5 or 6 weeks. I would go down to a neighbouring church just down the road. And the history of that church is quite interesting, because originally the building had been built for the slaves of the rich people who went to the church that I was part of. So that it wasn't obviously no longer that case, but that was its history as a building. The congregation that was there then was different, but it was a black church. And I remember the first time I went, I was the only white person there, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Just the exuberance and the way that they worshipped, and the way that I came out, my hands they clapped and danced enthusiastically. I came out, my hands were red from clapping that much. And I've been there about 5 or 6 minutes, and this huge woman stands up behind me and gives thanks to God for the white brother who's come to join us. And there was such a warm reception. They had a lot to teach us, and so I went back there many times.
Yes.
And once had the privilege of conducting and playing for their choir for an inter-church event, which was the most amazing experience of my life. The soundtracks of my youth, talking about embracing different cultures and different backgrounds, the soundtracks of my youth were quite different. I was I played in orchestras, so that was one thing, but I was also into heavy metal music. So heavy metal music was part of my upbringing. But another part of the soundtrack to my youth was reggae, because I lived in Brixton, and everywhere you went, there was reggae music blaring out. And so that, I have a love for that as well. So rather than just go, "Oh, well, that's not my music," or "That's not my thing, that's different," if you embrace it, you discover stuff, and you learn stuff, and you get to enjoy stuff that you wouldn't otherwise. So my first encouragement is don't be racist, and the second one, I'll be short on this one, is don't tolerate racism. Don't tolerate racism. I love the fact that some, in sports, there's the Stamp It Out campaign and stuff like that. Let me just say this about this: if you stand by and watch while somebody's being because of the race, or you walk away and you do nothing, you are part of the problem, because you could stop it. Intervene, stop it if you can, and if you can't, help so that it's stopped anyway. And whatever you do, at the end of that, don't walk away from the victim. Make friends. Make friends. So don't be racist. Don't tolerate racism. Why do I believe all of that's so important? Simple, because I'm a Christian, and I'm passionate about all of these issues, not just because of what I've experienced, but also because of my faith. And Jesus himself said, "Do to other people as you would have them do to you." And it's true. He didn't say, "Do to other people as long as they're the same race of you as you." He said to everyone, "Do to other people as you would have them do to you." That's probably enough for a minute. I'll let you. Oh, a bit of South London came out there. It's 'cause talking about South London, my accent slips back.
No, it's fine.
South London. Yeah.
Can I just check with you, Andy? Was it Leona Lewis you said?
Leona Lewis. It
Leona
was.
Lewis,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'll put
The
that
last
up on-
one.
From X
There you go.
Factor.
Have you found the link? Yeah, she won X Factor. If you can find the link,
I've got it. I'm going to put it on our
If you can't find it, I'll send
link.
it.
So yeah, I've put that up.
Fantastic.
So if you,
it's well
if
worth
you
the watch. It's only 10 minutes.
yeah, if you want to follow that, then it should be up on the link now.
Okay. So just a few things. I'm on. Yes, I'm on. I've got three. Who should I talk? I'll talk to you
Talk to
here.
the
So I'll
camera.
talk to the. Here we go. Right. Okay. So Andy, you tell me, or the points that you made was 1, don't be racist. 2, don't tolerate racism if you witness it, and also, you focused on people being unique and celebrating differences, or diversity is the in word at the moment, isn't it? And so on.
Yeah.
But God makes each and every one unique. And wasn't it your daughter, Caris, who voiced over a video about an individual's uniqueness beginning at the cellular
Yeah,
level?
she did.
Yeah. And we
Yeah,
can
she-
add a
yeah.
link to that in the description of this video, so that you can grapple with how small God really gets in terms of his intimacy with knowing you and designing you. And we have spoken over
Yes,
the last...
even-
Sorry, Andy.
Yeah, even before we're born, we are made unique. So
Yes.
when twins, what we call identical twins, who are not identical at all, when they're growing inside their mum, they are different right from the very first moment. Their DNA develops slightly differently. They're not identical in that sense. So we are deliberately different.
Yeah. This don't tolerate racism stuff is... can you think of one incident where you were in that position where you had to stand up as a young person and say, what you're doing right now isn't right, it is racist?
Yeah, I mean, several. I mean, certainly with Zul, that was definitely an issue, and there were people that said things to him in my presence that I would refute, and said things to me about him that I would refute, and you just have to say, actually, you're wrong. Just because he's different doesn't mean he's not worth anything or he's rubbish. Yeah, he's just different, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
How did it make
I was
you feel?
on a bus once and seeing somebody being racist and just intervening and going, that's not right. And generally speaking, people that are racist are bullies. And the thing we know about bullies is if you stand up to them and confront them, generally they back off because they're scared. Because the reason most people bully is because they're insecure.
How did it, so in those moments where you did stand up, especially the first time you said, no, I've had enough of this, how did you feel before, how did you feel during, and how did you feel afterwards?
Yeah, it's scary. It is scary. It's much easier to go along with the crowd and fit in, isn't it? Especially if the people that are making the comments are like the hard kids or the slightly wild kids and the ones that you don't get on the wrong side of that person. It's difficult, but it's important enough. No human being deserves to be put down like in that kind of way. So it requires the rest of us to do something about it.
Okay. You started... Do you have a question, Trev?
No.
No? Okay. Thanks for that. Okay, well, in that case, I don't particularly have something else I want to focus on from what you've said, other than to say thank you for your insight, thank you for your experience and being able to talk into it with some knowledge, especially with giving it from a Christian perspective as well. And do you have like a parting, not a parting gift, but like a summary, or just like a nugget of extra wisdom? You know, like you're squeezing the last bit of juice out of it.
You're overestimating my brain there, Glyn, I think.
Well,
just repeat.
If I was there, I'd
giving
massage your head, then squeeze it to see what came out.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you discover it's pretty hollow. I think the last word. I want to go back to what Jesus said, because what Jesus says is 100 times more valuable than anything that I'll say. And Jesus says, "Do to other people as you have them do for you." If you don't want to be mistreated and pushed around and bullied and picked on because you're different, don't do it to other people. If you want to be stood up for when other people are picking on you in numbers, be the kind of person that stands up for others.
That's very good, and that applies to many other things as well. You know,
Sure.
It's not just racism, but it's just about being good to people, kind to people, compassionate to people, gracious to people, being the kind of person God intended you to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Andy, for your time. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and your wisdom with us. I'm sure we'll be seeing this face again soon. But look how happy he is at that.
He doesn't look a day over 60, does he?
You would know, Trev.
Okay, Andy, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, I'll be in touch soon. Okay.
Okay.
All
Bless
right.
you. Have a good rest of the program.
Yeah.
Be
Thank you
blessed.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Take care. God
Bye.
bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh gosh, now I've got to figure this out.
Oh, this is where it gets complicated.
No, it doesn't get complicated. I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to do that.
I'm not sure which. Oh, that's
What am I
better.
watching there? Was I watching myself?
Yeah,
What?
that was you. Okay, watch this.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's a bit scary because it's
Look,
like.
are you still going?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because I've got my camera still on here. That's what it is. Whoa! That is
And
freaky.
The shirt doesn't help.
Is it proper thrown you? Okay, so there you go. Let's just sort that out. Okay, so thank you to Andy for that. That's very much appreciated. So just to recap of that is, don't discriminate, don't be racist, and don't tolerate it either. You are celebrate difference, celebrate someone's uniqueness, because there is no other person like
You.
that, like me. There's no other
Some
me.
would say praise God for that.
Yes, yes, Trevor. We know you'd say that with, you know, but this is where we need to change gears a little bit. I'm just going to remove a few things from the desk here because it is time for our challenge.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not the one who's come up with this challenge. This is Trevor's challenge
Shall I
to
move that as
me,
well?
but it's also Trevor's challenge to you, because I'm going to be doing the same challenge as you this week, and I'm going to let Trevor explain exactly what it is.
Okay, so the challenge this week is quite simple, really, but can be somewhat annoying.
Simple.
So we've got ordinary paper cup. You can use a mug or a cup from the kitchen. Make sure you get permission from the person who owns the cup. That's important. You don't want to get into any trouble because somebody broke a cup. And a table tennis ball.
That's what you've got to try and do.
So the aim of the challenge is to bounce the table tennis ball once and make it land in the cup.
Okay.
Yeah, that's too many times.
So it's not trying to get the cup to land in the ball.
That could be an interesting challenge.
No.
Yeah, no, you didn't do that one. I didn't do that one.
Oh. Okay, I think you're getting
close.
this, right? Ooh, that was
Yeah,
a close
I
one.
think you need to go.
A little higher.
Well, it's more about the. Because if it's going
The up and down.
that way, it's going too far, isn't it? Oh!
Ooh, rimmed it. Oh, I'm touching it. Ah! Got it.
No, still
You're
didn't
doing
get
it
it.
too fast. Right, fine. No. Oh,
No,
I lost it.
That's that way. Oh.
Where'd it
Oh,
go?
under your chair. Quick, 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 quick.
Ah,
Right, it's
is
following
it?
you around.
I can't find it. Okay.
Right, this time.
Oh!
Oh, almost.
Kick it over. All right.
we go.
Okay. So you seem to be getting the idea. Trevor thought he'd be very kind this week to me by not giving me a very difficult
Come on, Glyn, this time.
eating challenge, which would have been the 3rd week on a row. And to be fair, the last 2 challenges have not been that great, if I'm honest.
Did you not enjoy them?
What, do you think I did? I mean, at what point did you think I enjoyed eating
I thought
3
you
raw
were just,
eggs?
you know, you're actually a huge Marmite fan, and you were just.
Yeah,
kinda,
I'm just messing with people and lied.
Come on.
You got it in before.
I know. No, 2.
What is? I was wearing glasses when I came in.
Is that?
I have knocked.
Hey!
I've knocked the ball. Yeah.
No, still not going to work.
Oh! Okay,
Anyway,
so there you go. That's
you
the
get the
basic
idea.
idea. So you don't necessarily
there.
have to record yourself doing this on your phones, but if you'd like to, and send it in by attaching it to the Facebook page, GY or Generate Youth, and with the ampersand, VOCY. That is the youth. That is the Facebook page, but we can add a link to that in the description. I think there already is, if my memory serves me right.
Yep.
Great. So attach the video to that. If you have anything like conversation starters like we did with those cards, but if there's a particular topic that you would like us to talk about, then feel free to send that suggestion into us on the comment section, either on YouTube or on Facebook.
Yeah. Or a question. If you got a question,
yes,
send questions in as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any question as long as, well, yeah, anything. We're having this same argument again, aren't we? Because I'm just, it makes you nervous when you say that. Does it not make you nervous?
It makes me nervous.
You mean, yeah.
We would put a proviso in, that is we will not discuss anything that's going to offend or cause us to infringe any rules, regulations, laws, anything like that.
Yes.
But if you don't know how to word something, yeah, have a go, and then we'll try and interpret it as best we can. And
or we can have a conversation with you if you've left the question, and we can probably reply to that and see whether we can clarify exactly what you mean, because you may not have written it quite right, but it's sparked an interest within us, and we just want to follow that up. That isn't going to be us pointing the finger saying you've done it wrong. It's just we want to find out. Just
make sure we know.
We know exactly what you intended.
Absolutely, that's good.
Yeah, because we can also, we all misunderstand each other, especially over texts and over emails.
Oh
don't
man.
we? Oh, so many experiences of. I didn't mean that. That's not what I said. It is what you said. Yeah, okay. Theoretically, it is what I said. It's what I wrote, but that's not how it sounded when I wrote it.
I'll teach you.
Yeah. Email warriors. Okay, so that's pretty much coming to the end of our show. Boo! So I'm just going to borrow. I'm not saying. Oh, sorry. Treat others as like you'd like to be treated. Trevor, would you mind me borrowing your running order?
Oh, of course.
Thank you very much.
Please do borrow my running order.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so challenge has been done. We have to start now with the thank yous. Thank you to Trevor here for keeping me safe, keeping me sane, and keeping me in line, because I have a tendency.
Thank you for the privilege of being here.
It's good that you're here. Thank you to Andy Hughes. If you would like to leave him a message in the comment section, then feel free. If there's something that you would like to discuss or expand again, just add it to the comments.
Do you want to just mention the organisation that Andy works with?
Yes.
Again?
Urban Saints or Saint Gymuned. I can leave a link
again
in the description for you so that you can access that, because they do a lot of stuff around it.
Here we go. Here's a bit of a dad joke.
Oh, go on.
By the time you finish this afternoon, you'll have made a chain on the internet with all the links you're going to put up. Oh! It made me laugh anyway.
That table's quite solid. You know that Jim Carrey bit where he proper bashes his head? What is it? Liar, liar, and he's there, and he
really goes for it.
Blimey neck. Anyway, next week, this is not, at this particular moment in time, secure.
Our guest.
But our special guest is not only a good friend of Trevor, he trained with Trevor to be a minister. But don't let that put you off. The fact, the fact is, this guy, one, is a comedian, two, is a minister, or would you say that, one, he's human?
He's human.
He's definitely human. Two, he's a minister.
Yep.
Three, he's a comedian.
Yep.
I'm trying to put it in order. Or should I go, one, he's human, two, he's a child of God, three, he's a minister,
my goodness.
four,
Now
he's
you're
a
getting too
comedian,
complicated.
and five, why did I choose to do it like that? But anyway, five, he is one of the comedians, at least, who is on Britain's Got Talent this year, and he's through to the live shows. You may know him as Alan Finnegan. And he's a very funny guy. If you search for him on YouTube after this, then you will probably find him on one of the BGT clips.
Lots of clips out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward to. He's a really funny guy, and he will be talking to us actually about something that a lot of young people, especially when I was much younger, wouldn't it be lovely? Why did I start saying like I was from Manchester? Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be great if I was famous one day? I want to be famous. I want to be rich. Alan is on a journey because he was in the public eye as a minister.
Yep.
And now he's on a journey where things are becoming a bit more challenging because his whole life, in one sense, is being taken over. By Britain's Got Talent.
That's the one.
BGT.
Britain's Got Talent. That's what I was trying to say.
Pardon me.
Didn't come out right. But anyway. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So he'll be talking about what it's like to be in the public eye, which is kind of different to being just a minister, which is in the public eye, but being national now, isn't it? And his face will be recognisable. And walking in Liverpool. Has he given you any stories about that yet?
He's had one or two where people have recognised him, but on the whole,
can I touch you type of thing?
Really, don't do that now.
No. Social distancing and all that. Okay, so yeah, really looking forward to that. He's a great guy. Subscribe to our channel. If you'd like automatic notifications, then hit the subscribe button, and then tell you what, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell.
Brill.
Simples. Until next time, stay safe.
Same time.
Don't be
Wednesday.
Square. Next time, next Wednesday, you can have that. You can have that. So next Wednesday, 6. 4 o'clock till 5. And we are just shy of the hour, and that is good because last week we were up to, I think it was like 1 hour and 7 minutes. Slightly over, but it was fun. And there'll be another challenge for us as well this next week, won't it?
Yeah.
Trevor.
Don't forget our challenge. Send us some videos. Come on. All you've got to do, a ping pong ball and a cup.
Tell you what you could do for us if you really want to, please comment on YouTube to show your desire to see Trevor take part in the challenges as well.
I did today.
Yeah, the safe ones. Yeah. Okay, so if you'd like Trevor to... so hashtag Trevor challenge.
Thanks, mate. Thanks
Just
a lot.
throw you under the bus on that one.
Andy Hughes is typing even as we speak.
Exactly. Okay, guys, stay safe.
Be blessed.
Be blessed, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, Glyn.
Right. Bye for now. Have a good
Bye.
one.